Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is GILLIANBERRY, and today we have an incredible guest in store for you guys. His name is Nate, and he is actually on day 368 of only drinking juice, no solid food. He is doing an epic juice fast right now. I only know one other person that's gone this long. That is Sarah Erica. She did a year. Her story was incredible as well. I'll link it down below. So make sure you guys subscribe if you don't already. I produce great content every single week, amazing stories with just huge, massive transformations, good, bad, the real, everything. So let's get into it. Hey, Nate, how's it going?
Hi, it's going. Sarah was actually my inspiration. I knew about Sarah when I did my first fast, which was only 100 days, and I saw her transformation when she did the 365. But I didn't, well, I'm not saying anything negative about Sarah, but I didn't know the extent of what she did on her fast. I thought she just did a juice fast. So that's what I set out to do. But I didn't know, like, until I got to, like, I think 6 months or something, and I didn't see the kind of progress that she saw. I was a little curious of like why. But
Wow.
I didn't question her until I didn't question her about it until maybe 9 or 10 months in, when I was just like, I am not seeing myself transformed, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to run a 5K
And I
by
think
the
it can be different for everybody, the juicing story. And I have interviewed some people where it's like it didn't work. Some people it changed. Most people, I feel like it changes their life like nothing else, me included, when I did 37 days. But for anybody who doesn't know, Sarah Erica, she did a 1 year juice fast because she was having a lot of problems. And the doctors were just like, there's nothing else we can do. They tried everything. And she went to so many doctor's appointments and her health was just a mess. She was in a wheelchair and she was basically told she had to sit around and wrap her pretty little head around the fact that her days were numbered or something, as she put it in the video. And yeah, she tried a juice fast. And what was interesting was she drank mostly fruit juice and she completely reversed all her health problems. It was the most miraculous story ever. I'm getting goosebumps right now, even retelling it. And she was, yeah, running a 5K at the end. So no more wheelchair. She's still thriving. Such an inspiration. Gosh, I have goosebumps. So anyway, Nate, here we are to share your story and the real story. We share real stuff on this channel. It's not sugar coated. I don't know how the experience was because I haven't talked to you with an update lately, but over a year, this is crazy. So why? Okay, there's just so many things I need to ask. I don't even know where to get started. Maybe let's start with why did you take this juice fast on? And did you set to do 1 year or has it just evolved and you feel so good, you want to keep going, or you're not feeling good, so you're determined to keep going? What's the deal here?
maybe a little of both, because I didn't get the kind of transformation. It's always different. Like, I got results, but it wasn't the results that I was going into the juice fast wanting to get. But it did transform a lot about me. Like, I know my skin is better. Like, it's not completely healed, but it's definitely better. My mood is better. Like, I just feel happy and loving to everything all the time. And it's just not all the time, but just like for a lot. Like, it's just, I feel good for the first time and I don't know how long. It's just, that's one nice thing about the juice fast that it's like, so I set into the juice fast to heal my right side because that was the part that got really messed up. I couldn't, like, I had trouble walking and can't write and I had trouble driving. And then so I switched with the first, when this happened, it was 2016 when I first lost my physicality and became disabled. And I lost a lot when that happened. I lost my apartment, my job. I basically had to move back home with my family. And that was rough. And that's when I found the raw vegan diet. Like, it was completely accidental. I did an elimination diet and I did like I think I did a water fast. And then when I started bringing stuff back in, I kept having bowel issues every time I tried to bring in some kind of meat, like animal meat product. And I was ended up like I was narrowing things down, and I all that was left was like eggs and fish or something like that. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm vegan now. So I just when I came back to eating after that, I ended up just being vegan. And then I think I ended up seeing like the Freely on YouTube with her raw till 4, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'll try it out. That might as well. And it was easier, so I just did like fruit and melon or berries in the morning, and then I'd have something like raw for lunch, and then I'd eat like a cooked dinner. And then I noticed that I was feeling tired like every time I had dinner. So I was like, why don't I make everything raw and just cut out dinner. And that's when things like switched for me. Like I started feeling better and exercising more and moving around. And I started, going back to school. Like I was in school this whole time, but it was all virtual. But I decided I would drive and go back to school, and things were going okay for a while. Like I think for maybe like 4 or 5 years, things were okay. But then stuff started to go down again, and I started losing my physicality
Wow.
again. And then, the blip hit, and then the pandemic, like, and then everything just, I couldn't exercise because I couldn't leave the house. And then things just started, and I developed some kind of like chest pain. And that's when everything just started falling apart. And I think around them was when I tried to do my first juice fast, because I ran into somebody on Facebook and she was like, I can help you. Because I was on like Dr. Morris's forums looking for something, some kind of answer. Because I had been doing Dr. Morris or Dr. Morse, whatever. Like I'd been doing his herbs for a while, and I did all his kits, and I didn't really see like a huge difference. I mean, his GI stuff did help. Like it definitely helped flush me out, but I didn't. And I did a lot of the parasite stuff, and I assumed there must have been some parasites involved. But it just wasn't like that. So that's why I was still looking on his forums. Like, could somebody help me with that? And that's when I met this person on there, and she said she could help me because she was like a Dr. Morse coach or something like that.
Wow. And
So
I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, to just searching for different ways to reverse things and heal things and feel their best, live their best life, get more energy, have their best physical health. I feel like it's really common what you've gone through. I mean, maybe more serious than other people, but more more common. A lot of people find juicing and raw foods because of things like this, you know?
yeah, and I mean, so I come from a very like secular medicine background. My mom's a nurse, my dad was a doctor, my brother's a doctor. Like it's just a lot of medicine coming at me. So I had huge faith in it. So when I first got sick in 2008, I went to the best of the best for this, and they did all their tests, and they ended up getting a like an experimental drug from them, and it didn't end up working, and I just felt really lost after that. So I worked with them for I think 5 years, and then I ended up it's like a whole story of me. And I was physically okay, but I had like little issues. Like I had lightheadedness, and I had GI issues and constipation, and just really kind of struggling. But it was just like I just thought maybe everybody was dealing with it, and I
I
was
think a
doing
lot of people do deal with it. I dealt with that too. And then they just say maybe you have IBS. And then they said I had gluten allergies and then this and that and major digestive issues like you too. And I'm so interested to talk too. I'll let you keep going, but I'm interested. I want to know too, after what coming from a medical family, like how they must feel about you doing this juice fast. Are they like, Nate, you're nuts. What's going on, buddy? Like, get off of this or what?
the first time I did it, they had a lot of questions, like the typical like where you getting your protein kind of thing. I actually had a family member say that to me, which was like I was like, "Are you for real asking me?" Like, it was just so I just see that on the internet about people getting asked that, and I was like, I never thought I would be asked about the juice. And it was after like I think I had done it for 2 months already, and then they asked me, but this time they asked me less questions because I had already done this once, and they were like, well, clearly something's not working, so we're just going to leave you alone about it. And I wasn't dying; I was actually feeling better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just when you come from this kind of world, I think when you get one of these labels, these disease labels, they know what that means, and they expect. I think there's an expectation to get sicker and die from it,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, that's what happened to my dad. He had the same, label that I did, MS, and he died at 64.
Wow. I'm so
Right?
sorry. Oh, geez. I just interviewed Brooke Goldner. I don't know if you saw hers or if you've tried her protocol at all. Do you know, are you familiar
I
with
have
her?
not tried Brooks Protocol. It's like $500 to see her, so I
Oh, it
didn't.
is? I know she has a book too. I think she's got a lot of stuff in her book and a lot of like free recipes and smoothie stuff online, but I think she did it mostly with plants and being raw. But yeah, she helps people. She's helped people reverse MS and Well, good for you. Just, getting out there, trying different ways, trying different things, having all this hope, having faith, not giving up. Has this juice fast given you a great, like more of a, like a, just more hope, more faith, like a better spiritual sense and positive attitude and things like that? It seems like it really has. Like you said, you're happy. I can tell you just have like this energy about you, this magnetism about you. And I love it. And thank you for coming on. I'm just so honored to talk to you about this experience because it's epic. 1 year. Wow. I'm proud of you.
Well, I mean, I think one thing I've done this year is sort of read a lot. Like I've read Professor Spear's book. I've read like Weston Price. I've read. Have you heard of Pottinger and his cat study?
No, I haven't.
Okay. But I've read that, and I've started reading the Pleasure Trap. But it's just I feel like I'm on this, and I read Daniel Quinn, and that book was transformative. But it's just like this knowledge of where I am, and I feel like I understand why I'm here more than I did when I started. And I
Wow.
think kind of because a lot of it's just like that there's this narrative that there's like this clash of good and evil. I feel like really dominates the medical field, that there's a bad thing, it's out there, we're going to kill it. And I think it permeates everything too. It's like a cultural narrative that there has to be this clash between good and evil. And
Yeah.
it's kind of found its way into what we're doing with raw vegan, that there's bad and good and light and dark. But there really isn't. But in this, like that, what's happening isn't unnatural. Like what we're eating is not unnatural, because you can't eat. This planet is a box. You can't get food products from outside of this box. So every chemical is a chemical that has to be. It's just like there's no such
True.
thing as a chemical. And I
True.
know it's just if it's toxic to you, that's because you are not adapted to eating it. Because if you fed a lion a raw vegan diet, it would probably end up like skinny and dying and dead, because that's not what it eats. So the fruit would be toxic to a lion, but great for us. And I know there are like mealworms that can eat plastic, but if we ate plastic, we would get sick. And it's just like it's not toxic; it's more evolution, adaptation, and that because we keep changing, we keep moving the finish line of what our diet is. I think that brings up problems for the people that can't adapt as well. And not that everyone's not adapting, it's just some people are adapting better than others, but it's taking a toll on our species,
Hmm.
like longevity, fertility. And you see all this like I wish you had read Pottinger's cat study, because he has this interesting thing that he noticed with the cats. Like maybe I can like briefly describe
Yeah,
Pottinger's
for
cat.
sure.
He
Yeah.
he was studying tuberculosis or something, but he was doing it on cats, and he noted like he didn't have enough food to feed the cats, but a butcher factory or whatever butcher shop offered him raw meat scraps to feed his cat. So he ended up feeding some of the cats this cooked food, cat food, and then also these raw scraps. And as he was doing this experiment, he noticed that the raw food cats were actually doing better, and all the cooked food cats were coming down with the diseases of modern man.
Wow.
So he switched what he was studying, and he watched these cats eating selectively like different kinds of food. I think he had like raw milk and cooked milk, and like he had a lot of variations, but basically like cooked versus raw. And he noticed that after 3 generations, the cooked food cats, they became completely infertile. So there was no 4th generation to study, because they couldn't have any more cats in that side. But also these cats, they developed chronic illness like we do, like Parkinson's or whatever, like symptoms similar to these diseases, but they also diminished, like sexual dimorphism diminished. So it was harder to tell female from male.
Wow.
And you kind of see that with us. Like you see
Wow.
people kind of blending, and it's not that it's unnatural and not that it's wrong. It's just that's the explanation for why these things are happening, because we're trying to evolve into a diet that it wasn't our original diet. So we're seeing, like, I imagine the way I think I could describe it, like if you had a petri dish full of bacteria and you applied an antibiotic, that antibiotic would kill 99% of those bacteria. But that 1% resilient to that antibiotic would then be able to go on, and then if you tried that again, all the bacteria would survive because they're now adapted.
Wow,
So,
interesting.
right. But I wonder if that's happening to us. Like, we're not doing something like that. We're not eating only cooked food. We're not, eating only like harsh antibiotics. It's just we're
True.
doing some of these things. So I think it's cutting
True.
down, like it's like stripping some people off that just can't cut it. And you're noticing, like, with every generation, it's a little worse,
Yeah.
right? More kids are sicker, younger,
Yeah.
people are dying earlier. And it's
They are. At my daughter's school, it's like a 45% absent rate every day, almost right now, from people being sick. Isn't it
really,
crazy? It's crazy. You're right. And interesting what you were saying about the study with this raw food versus the cooked food, because when I used to eat a mostly cooked food diet, I was developing all sorts of health problems, all sorts of health problems, blood sugar problems, fainting, going to the doctor, panic attacks, major depression and anxiety, major brain fog, digestive issues, the worst body acne you'd ever seen that was so embarrassing I didn't even want to wear a bikini. And I could just go on and on. I had blood in my stool, so many problems. All of these problems completely reversed when I went on a complete raw food diet. So I just wish that more, because I know it's not just the case for me. I know everybody's different and they have to follow their own path, even if that's not raw vegan, even if that's not juicing, even if it is the medical system. I am all for, like, everyone do what feels right for you and what you believe in. But I know if it's had this effect on me and so many of my guests, then I know it's so many other people could benefit, reverse things. And it's just part of the reason I created this channel. I think it's so fascinating. That book sounds so fascinating. And I feel like you sound so fascinating because I feel like when you do a juice fast, your mind is so clear and you're just so in tune. That was my favorite thing on my juice fast. My mind was so quiet and still. And I almost just couldn't wait to go to bed at night because I would have such vivid, lucid dreams. And I just loved how connected I was. And I felt like I was getting messages and, like, God was speaking to me more, just like so much more in tune with things. It was crazy. So I feel like we are kind of blessed to listen to what you have to say, because talk about being ultra clear on day 368, Nate. I love it. I think it's awesome. So, as far as the juice fast goes, are you happy with the results you've experienced? And do you have a plan to? I have some questions for you from my guests too, or from my viewers. Not my guests, not my host guests, but my viewers. But how far are you going to go? And I mean, good, you've definitely dedicated yourself to this. So you've given this a shot. It's not like you just were like, I did 10 days to see if it would reverse this. You've definitely given it the shot, right? But have you got the results, like results that you're happy with? And how long are you planning on going? Like,
yeah.
have things reversed at all? And physically, I know you've experienced all kinds of mental results, mental clarity, happiness, energy, all these things, which are so amazing. And how has it been as far as the MS and the other things? Any improvements with that?
Well, okay. Have I gotten the results that I wanted? No. But am I happy with my results? Do I regret doing this juice fast? Absolutely not. Like, some of the stuff that's happened to me, and if you could see, like, I wouldn't want people to see, but if you could see all that has come out of me, you would be, I think it would shock people. I was shocked. Like, pounds, like, and when I added the enema at the 10-month mark after talking to Sarah, I noticed when I stopped taking my weight probably around like 7 or 8 months, but I just took my weight again, and I was a steady 170 through this whole juice fast. Like, I dropped a little bit at first, and then I sprang back up and just kind of leveled off.
And
But
what did
once
you weigh before? Sorry to interrupt.
I started at 180,
Okay.
and then dropped maybe to like 160, and then I bounced back up to 170.
Wow.
But after adding the enema, I dropped down to 155. And I think a lot of that was waste,
Yeah.
because after I added that aspect, I saw so much drop out of me that it was ridiculous. I mean, it's just, it's incredible what I was holding inside of me, that it just had that. I'm amazed this had this effect. Like I didn't expect this level of filth or whatever inside of me, and it just was fascinating to watch and almost like disturbing.
It's crazy. So it makes you realize so many of us, I've seen so many stories like this too. It makes you think so many of us have so much waste inside of us, even if we have smaller stomachs or this and that. Like it's crazy how much can be held in there, right? So your colonics or enemas, you said? Colonics?
It I didn't never do a colonic because
Enemas.
I read Gerson's book, Gerson Therapy, and he was against colonics because he said that that would actually wipe out bacteria in the, because enemas are just a one amount of whatever you put in there. He does coffee enemas. I tried doing coffee enemas. I ended up with like terrible back pain, so I stopped doing the coffee enemas, and I went more towards, I guess, what Arnold Ehret and Professor Spear talk about with lemon juice. But I did a little bit, like I combined Dr. Morris with the lemon juice enema. So I do like a kidney tea and a heal-all tea and lemon juice. And it just, ooh, it's just so hard to like, I don't know. It just really fires me up, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I know some people come on my channel and they say, "Oh, I'd love to do this, but I'm scared I have to go to the bathroom all the time." But at least that definitely hasn't stopped you. Like you are not only doing a few days over this, you have been going the whole time. Do you stop drinking juice earlier in the evening so that you don't have to wake in the night?
I
Yeah.
stopped at 5 or 6 because I was just like, this is, sometimes I usually, like I was saying I would go to 6, but I usually stop around 5:30 because I don't know, I try to listen to me. And when my body's ready to stop, I just stop, because if not, I'll be like peeing all the time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's no fun. And I
Well,
just, yeah, I felt myself on the fast too, less wanting to go out. It was,
yeah.
I
I
was going a lot in the beginning.
I got like that too on mine, even on my 37 days, which doesn't even compare to yours. It's kind of a joke compared to yours, but I felt like that too. I started to get to a point where I just kind of wanted to be alone for a bit, but it wasn't bad. I felt good, but okay. So I want to ask you some of my viewers' questions. Before I get into that, I just love to know, I can't remember if we covered it exactly, but in the video or before we got on, what are the main benefits to this juice fast that come to mind? And maybe what's your top favorite part about it?
Well, so let me talk about my MS symptoms. Like, one thing I
Yeah.
don't think about MS as being the thing. Like, it's not. It's just a name of something. Like, it's not even really very descriptive of what it is. But I just like my MS. Like the stuff that was attributed to my MS has gotten better. It's just not fixed. Like I still can't run, but my legs are stronger, and my hand is better. Like things have gotten better. My eyesight's better. Like I went down in prescription when I was
Wow.
too fast. And I just feel like a lot has gotten better, just it didn't fix me. And I'm wondering, like I read this book. Well, so I don't know if I should do like a shout out to Olivia Herzog, because I joined her group during this fast, a Herzog.
Yeah, of course.
But I joined her group, and she's like a raw vegan ish type of person. And she's I like that she has like a book club. So I got into that. So she ended up, it was giving me book recommendations that I wouldn't normally like go after. And one was about this woman who had like a near death experience. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but she,
I am. All I watch on YouTube is near-death experiences. Not all, but I love them. I live for them. I think they're incredible. They give me such an insight into the afterlife, and I'm all here for it. So yeah.
yeah. Well, she was friends with Wayne Dyer, who is,
Yeah.
so she had this near death experience. She had
Oh,
like,
Anita Morjani.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
in, like, yeah, she had the experience, and she found out when she died that the afterlife was just this like bubble of love. And when she came back, her cancer was just gone. And she said she knew it was gone. She told the doctors it's gone, and they checked, they couldn't find it. But she wasn't just instantly well. Like she still had to heal and get her life back, and so like she was physically, cancer was gone, but she was not completely healthy. I wonder if that's what's going on with me, that I've eliminated so much, and my body's getting better every day. I wonder if I just need time, but I don't
yeah.
know. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you do have improvements. And do you feel like you have less pain or some of the symptoms with that, like
Okay.
joint pain or muscle pain? And and it's gone away, no pain?
No pain. I have no
Oh,
pain. I just have weakness. Well, not weakness, but lack of mobility, stiffness, which is actually why I got in touch again with Dr. Morse, because I was like, this sounds like a kidney problem. And I talked with their clinic, and they're like, this does sound like a kidney issue. So I got back on their their kidney formulas. Also got this I'm also on one of their blood circulation issue problems, and then I'm doing the GI broom and I think brain and nerve. But I was just focusing, and I'm wondering if that's going to help me turn around, because I think it's my right kidney, if it's my right side, that's having problems. And this whole nervous system thing, it doesn't really make sense. So that's
hmm.
what I decided to do with that.
Wow. And
That's,
how, so
that's not a solution to MS. It's just a solution to what I'm doing. Sorry.
yeah, no, not at all. And so what does your daily routine look like? Like, are you making your juices and drinking them fresh, which I think is the best, or are you batch juicing and drinking them later? And how many do you drink a day? I mean, I know I drink if I'm juice fasting, at least 8 32 ounce. I drink a lot though, and most people don't. But yeah, what are you drinking? How do you prepare it? And what does a day look like?
I have a morning routine. The rest of the day, kind of whatever. But and I've been in school this whole time getting my doctorate. So not
Wow.
only am I ending my fast on Friday, but I'm also ending school on Friday.
Look at
So
you.
yes,
Amazing. Congratulations. Wow,
thank
that's
you.
huge. And so you've had focus. I know a lot of people on a juice fast, they think I'll have to sit in bed. I'm on a cleanse. I'm not going to have the energy to do anything. I can't work. I won't be productive. But look at you getting your doctorate. Like, come on, right? This is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it was all virtual, so it was easy to do from home, which was
Still.
great. This was the perfect time to do this because I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't. My job is also virtual, so it was just I didn't need to leave, and I get groceries delivered to me. It's the world has become this home buy type of universe where things you don't have to leave your house, and so it just was very convenient. But so I do batching of the
Mhm.
juice. So I drink a little over 2 gallons. I'm 6 feet tall, so I drink I have to, but I don't always finish it. I'd rather have more juice than not enough juice, so I always make extra and I just put it in the fridge. I'll usually end up with a gallon or a half gallon at the end of the day. So I'll put that in the fridge. But I tend to try to drink 2 gallons. I always start the day with watermelon, usually mono fruit watermelon. And then I'll do stuff. I was doing the lemon ginger blast. I was following Shane's protocol mostly for the first 10 months. And then these last 2 months, I was just like, no, thank you. I'm done. I'm just going to drink what I want to drink
Yeah,
for the
that's good. And I thought it was interesting on Sarah Erica's that she drank so much juice, but you're still drinking juice too. You're right. You drank the watermelon juice. Are you drinking some orange juice and stuff or no?
I didn't do orange juice so much because it's such a pain to juice oranges, but I do oranges every now and again. I mostly do pineapple and grape, and cucumber.
Mm,
Um,
good. And are you doing all organic or no?
no,
Yeah,
couldn't. I
it's
find
fun.
it, especially with delivery, to get all organic ordered to you is difficult,
Yeah.
especially watermelon. I've done watermelon literally 300, all year. I've been getting watermelon from Costco, which has been, I didn't think it was possible. So
Wow. Yeah, me too. I've been getting it all year too, and it's so good juice. Watermelon and mint is my favorite juice. And what juicer are you using? What juicer do you use?
I use the Nama, the OG Nama, not the new
Yeah.
one because I can't afford that yet. But I should get the J2 because it looks so nice and convenient. And the J1 kind of breaks down sometimes.
Yeah, I've never used the J1. I want to get one to compare them. I'm planning on doing that for a video, but I used the J2. I got it last year. I literally juice every day with the J2. I didn't used to juice with my old juicer, but it's the best. You get more juice from your produce. It's easy to use, easy to clean, and it makes you want to juice. That's why you can't find those online used because everybody keeps theirs and actually uses it. So I'm affiliated with them because they're amazing. I only endorse stuff I use and love. And if you guys want one, I'll put my code down below. You can save $55, but it's so good. But at least your juicer, the best juicer is one that you're actually going to use and get started. Even if the Nama's not in your budget, like I suggest to people, you can go online, check Kijiji, Craigslist, try find whatever you can find, because some people don't use their juicers, whatever. But that's great. Okay, so anything else with your daily routine that we need to know that's important?
Okay, so what I'm doing, I do get up every morning and I juice, but I get up, that's the first thing I do because we did get a puppy. So I have to take care of the puppy after everyone goes to work. So that's why I get up to do the juice. So I'm able to do that. But then I do an enema every day, and depending on like every other day, I do a shower after the enema, and I do a cold shower.
Wow.
And I was going out in the cold, but since it's gotten to be spring, that's not really an option anymore. So I do like doing more cold showers. And then I do end every day with that prana mat, which you kind of got me hooked on.
You got one. It's the best, right?
No, it's evil. But I like how I feel after I finish on it, but getting on it and sitting there for that whole time sucks. But
No, I know. They reached out to me recently and I didn't even know what those mats were. And that was a few months ago, I guess. And then I was like, okay, I'll do a sponsor for you guys if I like it, right? I used it. It's the best thing I've ever discovered. So that as well, I'll link below if you guys want one, you can save with my code. It is freaking insane. Like, yeah, okay, I'll try put an image or a little clip on the screen right now so you guys know what we're talking about. But when you get on it, it hurts at first for the first little while, like so much. Like it's an acupressure mat. And these ones are handmade in Europe. And then when you lay on it, then it becomes literally like if you can get through the painful part, just like life. Like when there's pain, it was like childbirth, so painful for me, but then it turned into like the best moment of my life. So it's like painful, but then it's like something amazing. And your body feels all blissed out, relaxed. It takes away like pain you have in your body. It gets rid of stress. It makes me breathe better. And then it's not only for like the time you're on the mat, right? Even when you get off the mat, like your day is better or you sleep better depending when you use it. I'm so glad you got one and you like it.
yeah, it feels good. The back is easier, but the stomach is terrible. Like
I can't do that.
It hurts my rib cage forever, so I have to like come off of it. But my abdomen ends up being okay, but it's that chest. It's those points that are around my chest that they never stop hurting.
I can only lay on it on the back, and then you deal with a little pain at first, but then it feels amazing. But I can't. I've never tried the front. I can't do the front. No. Wow, good for you.
Oh, well, I mean, I had to do both, like, because I know about acupoints, and I know I like the nutrition school I went to was formerly an acupuncture. It started out as an acupuncture school, and so all that holistic type of stuff is in the school. So I learned well. Also, I did 𝒔𝒂𝒗𝒆 before I got really sick, a martial art that had a lot to do with 5 elements and acupuncture. So I knew a lot of it that way. And so when I'm laying on this acupressure mat, I knew I needed to get the front and the back because there are acupressure points on both of those things. So it was just important to me to do both. But the front is a lot worse.
Wow. Yeah, I can't do the front. So you end your day with that, and then it's good. You're doing so much self-care, right? Really taking care of yourself.
Yeah, and I do the bentonite and psyllium husk. I'm trying to think of what else I do. I do the Dr. Morse teas. I get out and I try to get vitamin D. Like even when it was cold, I tried to get out in the sun. And I kind of combined that with my cold exposure. So I'd sit out when it was sunny in the cold. And oh man, I love the sun, especially when it's cold. Because if there's no sun, it is just miserable. But when the sun comes out, even in that little bit of sun, somehow 8 million miles away, I still feel it. And I'm just like, this is tolerable with this.
It's important. It's important. We need it. We need that vitamin D. So that makes me think, have you supplemented at all on this? Have you been taking any supplements? No. And have you
a little bit, but I kind of got away from it.
Have you seen any mucoid plaque? I know people will ask me about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess. I mean, I don't really even know what mucoid plaque is, but I've seen a lot of stuff that looks like my intestines. I haven't seen any parasites, but I don't know if you're looking for dead parasites. I saw stuff that looked like parasites, but upon inspection, it was just mucousy, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'd love to ask you some viewers' questions. So, well, I posted on my Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram if you guys don't already. I post constantly in my stories. I love it. But okay, so somebody said, how do you stay so disciplined?
Oh, I don't have choice. I mean, there's either, juice or bust. Like I couldn't go back to the life that I had before I was juicing. After the first juice fast, I scrambled. Like I went to a place in Florida that shall not be named, and that did not work out.
Really?
And
wow.
Getting COVID down there and got kicked out of place and then had to live in Florida for 10 days, which was awesome because everything was closed too. So it was like fun of living in Florida because there was
Yeah.
a pool. There was a pool, but you couldn't go into the pool because of
Oh
COVID.
yeah. I'm
So it's
glad
like
things have shifted a bit and we're not dealing with
nobody,
that anymore.
there
But
was
you,
no.
well, you've done good staying disciplined. I have a lot of respect because I know you're like, well, I have no choice, but you do have a choice and you don't have to stay like this. And you are. So it's really respectable and really commendable. I feel like if you can do this, you can do anything. And somebody said, this is actually a question from my mom. Shout out Janice. She's amazing. She said she was one of the questions. Are you excited to eat solid food?
Oh yeah, I've been dreaming about it. I really, but I'm not coming back. Like I was raw vegan kind of before, although I did like dip into paleo to try it because there's a woman that cured her MS by doing this paleo diet. So I tried to emulate what she did. I
Yeah.
hated it. Body hated it. I was
Well,
struggling to put food in my mouth, and that's when I decided to do the fast because I was like I don't even like eating.
yeah. Well,
So I
this
was
is
just
perfect then.
right.
And
So
somebody said, can you ask if he had any scars improve while long-term juice fasting? Do you know, did you notice?
I didn't have any scars.
Oh, you
So
didn't. Okay. And somebody said, how expensive was this per month? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't track it. I ended up, so I guess I ended up manifesting money because
Yeah.
so I ended up with like 30 grand at the end of all this, even though I'm not really working that much.
This
It
is
just,
what happens. So many people say this when they start juicing on my channel that I interview, and so many people send me DMs about this. And this happens for me every time I juice fast too. I think the last time I juice fasted, I did 14 days, and I think I attracted an extra 20 grand on that juice fast. And I was like, I don't think this would have happened without the juice. I don't know. You're in like some other frequency, and I'm really into that stuff, like the law of attraction, this and that. And that's awesome. Good for you. Sometimes I think just the universe brings it because you're meant to keep doing it or something, or it's just like, I don't even know. I don't know all the answers. I wish I did.
uh,
But
came a
somebody
non-issue.
said, did you have any detox reactions?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was tired a lot. Had to lay down, like halfway through the day, I would usually have to go lay down for like 30 minutes to an hour. Just, I felt so tired. My eyes would just be like struggling to stay awake. And I'm trying to think of other detox symptoms I had. Like there were some days where I just felt so weak in
Hmm.
my legs and in my hands and stuff. And I didn't have any like migraines or anything like that. And I didn't have any, well, I did get coughing. And I know in the beginning, actually, I was so itchy for that first month. I just
Wow.
itched all the
Wow.
time. And that I don't even remember it anymore because it went away. But I remember at first, it wasn't like there wasn't anything red or anything on my arms, but I just know it was just so itchy. I could
Wow.
not scratching.
And did you ever feel like quitting? Were there ever moments where you were like, okay, I'm just going to stop and then you changed your mind or anything? No? Wow.
No, I didn't. No, because going back to what I had before was even worse than doing the juice fast. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have done this if I was like healthier, because
Yeah.
it took this level of desperation to
True.
do this. I don't know, like if that's maybe what it takes is
No,
that
that's
you
usually the case. That's like I interviewed Joe Cross. Did you watch that documentary, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, where he had those health problems? I
both of
had,
them. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd
So
watch one too. I was just like,
I'll link his interview below, but I feel like that's usually the case with most people. But unless you've experienced it, then sometimes if you've experienced it and you initially did it for health reasons, maybe you'll do it again because you're like, wow, the spiritual benefits or how I felt was incredible. But that brings me to my next question. Somebody said, would you do it again?
a year long fast,
Yeah, this
probably.
is no. But would you do another juice fast down the line, like 30 days, 10 days, 5 days?
Debating doing a water fast, but I just don't have the time to do because a water fast you really have to commit. Like a juice fast is a little less stress because you can
Mhm.
continue to do your daily whatever because you're still getting calories. But on a water fast, you must rest. Like to get the real benefits of a water fast, don't try to continue, your life.
Yeah. Yeah, water fast is a whole other thing. That's one thing
Yeah.
I've never done, but I think people have to be more careful doing a water fast too. Like I would recommend
No,
going to, I don't know. That's my view. I think I've heard stories where people were like, "Oh, I'm on day 21. I feel like I'm gonna pass away." Or like I think people need to be careful with the water fasting.
yeah,
It's different than the juice fasting, where like you're saying, you got so much energy, you're getting your doctorate, you're doing this, you're doing that, right?
yeah, you don't get any calories on a water fast. It really is a detox, like the original detox.
True.
Like
Mhm.
like, I don't recommend dry fasting. I think that's dangerous, especially for people that have never detoxed before. I know a few people that have died that were experienced juice fasters, and they just dry fasting's dangerous. It's like,
Yeah, I see, and that's the thing. I never hear anything with juice fasting where it's dangerous. I did hear one girl I interviewed said on day 60 she felt she passed out, she fainted, and that's the only thing. And then she was like, "Oh, I just kept going and I was fine." And then she went to like 120 days or something. But that's the only thing I've heard of. Um, even out of all the stories, if you guys know anything, let me know in the comments, but I don't think so. It's one of my favorite fasts of choice. Same with mono fruit fast. But somebody said, did you ever crave fast food or restaurant food?
what?
Did you ever crave fast food like burgers and
Okay.
fries, pizza, or like
Like,
restaurant food? Did you ever like, oh, it'd be nice to order off Uber Eats, or I think it's called
I've been
Postmates
off
there.
that for a long time. Like, I stopped eating cooked, like, fast food when I was like in my 20s.
Yeah. Okay.
I had struggled with being overweight for a while. So that's when I started, running and trying to eat healthier. But I made the mistake of going down this sort of rabbit hole of not carnivore, but just the paleo people. They get you and you try to do that. And I feel like my progression was first I did like a Chinese sort of energies diet, and then that progressed to like the GAPS diet, and then that took me to sort of like a paleo, and then I went on this one diet that really messed me up. That was sort of it was called I think it was like an anti-candida diet, but it was very meat heavy, very vegetable light, and almost no fruit. And that's what really so I think it's just a path that you get sent down when you start going in one direction. And I wish I had gone down this raw vegan path, but once you, I don't know. Let me tell you about like what I'm gonna do after this fast, because I have almost been transformed by this fast. And my taste buds have changed, my mindset has changed, my everything is just different. I don't desire like I read Professor Spira's mucusless diet book that he did for Arnold Ehret, and this whole like mixed eater versus mono eater, and I feel that there is something to it. And I don't know if Eli does this, but only eating one food at a time.
Yeah, that's our
Like,
body loves it. Our body loves that the most, I feel like.
right. And there's a bit of a push in our raw vegan realm to make cooked food raw vegan,
Yeah.
and it's just basically the sad diet raw vegan, or the standard American diet, or I don't know, standard Canadian diet. Like, it's just basically the same thing, but just raw. And
And
it's
I
just
think for somebody who wants to reverse things, I don't think that going for the raw gourmet, like I don't think that's the way. Like the raw. I mean, I know people have still reversed things like that though and totally transformed their life. So maybe I shouldn't say that, but I don't think it's the ideal way if you're really on a health journey. I mean, to get into like every day, every meal, like the raw vegan pizza, the raw vegan dehydrated and dried foods. Dehydrated and dried foods are harder on our body to digest than the food in its whole form with like more water content, right? So our body has to work harder to digest those. Therefore, it has less energy for other things, right? So yeah.
yeah. But I mean, you get kind of tempted by that too, especially in the community. Because I know when I first went raw vegan, I was making all the sushis and the complex salads and stuff, and just trying to make these burgers or whatever, like fancy stuff. And I think maybe that's why it didn't work 100%, because I wasn't
Yeah.
eating like just one thing and another thing and trying to make it more like the food that I had been eating. It's
So
just,
what's next for Nate then?
yeah,
So you're gonna break it in a few days, I think, right? And what type of daily food protocol are you planning on trying?
I want to just do one food for breakfast, one food for lunch, one food for dinner. And I've been sort of on the fence about whether I want to break it with watermelon, but I've been just so craving tomatoes that I'm kind of wondering maybe my first food should be tomatoes, just because I've been itching to eat them.
They're so good. I bought some organic grape cherry tomatoes yesterday on the vine. They're just so beautiful. There's something about them.
Yeah, the first bite that splash. There's
Yeah.
something magical about that. And I've noticed that when I've been making my juices, I have chewed on some of the food, which I don't know if that's allowed on a juice fast. Like I haven't swallowed it, but I wanted that first.
Chewing. Yeah,
Yeah.
some people say they have a problem not chewing, and that's never bothers me. But mind you, I haven't gone as long as you. But some people just like that, like chewing. But yeah, if you didn't swallow it, you didn't swallow
I
it.
didn't swallow it. But I mean, you can't help but not swallow some of it, I guess. I don't
So
know.
you're for sure gonna break the fast in a few days then, right? So that this
Yeah.
video will be up after you've broken the fast then. So by the time it's up, you've already broken your fast. And I will link all your stuff below so that everybody can go follow Nate. Let's find out what's going on. Maybe we'll have you back. I'd love to have you back at some point too for an update on how it's going with your raw journey. And I'm excited for you. And I like how you're planning on eating like really clean, mostly mono meals. I think that's a great plan.
It makes the most sense for me. Like I don't want to espouse this being the diet. And like I said before, like you can eat. Like I don't think it's bad to eat the standard diet. I just think if you do that, you're kind of rolling the dice of whether
You
you're
are.
going to adapt to it or not. And if you
Yeah.
can't, you're going to see what happens when animals can't adapt. Like I did, the only animal that I know of that has done this somewhat successfully, but not super successfully, is the panda. 2 million years ago, they were carnivores. And then they decided as a species to start eating bamboo. I don't know why they did that,
Wow.
but they did. So they're basically living with the physiological. So it's been 2 million years. They still haven't physiologically adapted. Like they still have the internal organs of a carnivore, but they eat only, well, for the most part, only bamboo. So the consequence of that, I mean, you can see that, right? They're endangered. It's hard to get them to breed. They're almost disinterested in it. And it's just them, they have to eat so much. And that's because they can't digest that food as well. So they're just eating all day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I want
So
to ask you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just think that if that's what we want to do, like if we want to, I guess, I wish I could, I wish there were more examples of it, but maybe there's a reason there's not a lot of examples of that.
Yeah, I find it interesting. And did you read as much before, or did this juice fast bring this out in you? I know. Yeah, interesting. Me too. Whenever I get on a fast or whatever, I want to read that book, Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. That's my favorite. Do you know that book?
I read some of it. I didn't finish it, but I did. I liked,
It's good on
like,
Audible.
yeah, that's what I wasn't reading it. I was
No.
listening. It's interesting because it has the man's voice and the woman's voice. And it's just really trying, what was it trying to, it was trying to tell me that God, it's been a while since I listened to it, but just that God was not testing you or making, like that you were the likeness of him or her. And that was the whole point.
There's so much to that book. It's literally, I
Yeah.
think it's literally volumes and volumes long, like hundreds of hours. I don't even know. But it's the best book I've ever listened to. It's so life-changing. And that's interesting. It's just your mind opens up on a fast like this. That's why you've been reading so much. That's what happens to me. And I love that. That's my favorite part about the juice fast. It's not even like the physical things or the benefits that might happen with the skin, or it's cool your eyes have improved. My eyes improved too. My eyes have improved just on the raw vegan diet. Amazing. So did you have to go change your prescription?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I had to get my eye tested, and when I got tested, they said, "Are your prescription lower?" And I was like, "Awesome."
Yeah. That happened to
I'll
me when
go
I went
back and
raw. I was watching TV with my daughter, and then all of a sudden, I forget how long after I'd been raw, all of a sudden I was like, I can read the TV and see the TV. What's going on? My prescription's been like 6 or 550 my whole life. And then I could see things and I was like, this is weird. And then I went and they were like, it's gone down a couple points and it's crazy. Amazing. Good for you. See so many benefits.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm upset the things I wanted to fix didn't completely fix. Like the benefits are amazing.
Yeah.
Like I feel better. I'm in less, well, the pain I had was more when I would like push on my abdomen. That was the pain I had, and that's somewhat diminished or gone. And I had trouble sleeping. I had trouble with the acne on my face. I had trouble, I don't know. I didn't realize I had trouble breathing, but that was a big one. Like, so spirituality for me, like it was a spiritual experience because I did, like, after reading Professor Spear's book, I realized that we are air gas engines and that our primary food is not food. Like food, it's air. Like that we can't live without air. And by doing the breathing breath work every day, I really started to become connected to everything. Because what's funny is we're living in two separate countries, but we're breathing the same air.
Mm-hmm.
Like that this act, the thing that you do every second for every day, actually ties you into the planet. That every animal, every plant is breathing the same air as you at the same time that you're breathing it. There's something so profound about that just this one act, me talking to you here, breathing in this air, I am literally touching everything on the planet. And there was something so incredible about that, something so spiritually uplifting about that. That is kind of like, it is essentially God. Just that it is like, if you look at the Bible, that God breathed life into Adam. Like, I don't think that's an accident. I think that's because that we have known that air is life.
True. I love it. Yeah. I just interviewed this gentleman by the name of Devon, and he hasn't eaten solid food in 5 years, and he lives for like breath work and
breatharian. I don't know how
living off air. And it was really interesting. It made me realize how important it is for like proper breathing too, not like shallow breathing. He said, like, and all that. It's so interesting. If that video is up, I'll link it down below. Or again, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. That one was so good too. But yeah, this has been amazing. I could talk to you all day. I think it's amazing. I think you're such a great person. And I feel like I can tell this experience has just been meant to be and amazing. And you've shared so much with us today. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you for dressing up for the occasion. I love the shirt. I think it's awesome. You're such good vibes, such a good guy. And I seriously wish you nothing but the best. I feel like when you keep searching, you find the answers. And I just pray and know you will find the answers and live your best life. And you're doing amazing. And God would be proud of you. Your dad would be proud of you. And you're so awesome. I could cry. I love it. So if there's anything you feel called to share with us to end off with, I don't know, maybe whatever comes to mind or any inspiration for somebody who might be in a hard place or wants to maybe try this or whatever you feel like sharing. And if you could let everybody know where to find you, if you'd like to let everybody know that, or if you want to keep that private, it's your choice. And I will link it down below as well if you want to share it.
I just think that every day is a gift, like that stupid Kung Fu Panda movie, like that yesterday was a mystery, or yesterday was history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. And that's why they call it the present. Like every day you wake up is another chance to fix you. And like if you're dead, that's kind of game over. But if you're still alive, there's got to be some reason for that, right? Like, and I admittedly, I did not fix myself doing this, and I will keep trying other things, and it's not over until it's over. So
yeah,
I don't give up.
And yeah, we'd love to keep on in touch with your story. So we'll keep on with that. And you're on Facebook. Do you want to share where you are? You can give me whatever you want to link down below for that too. So if anybody wants to contact you.
I mean, if they want to reach out to me, Nate Strauss, Facebook. I made a new Facebook, so there's probably 2 Facebooks. I know I have like a first Facebook that I put it offline and then I checked it and then it came back online. I just never turned it off again, but I don't really pay attention to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a website or a book or anything, so I'm not like pushing
Maybe
it.
one day. Maybe one day.
One
Even
day.
if not. You're amazing just how you are. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on and being so open and honest and sharing your whole story. And I've enjoyed it. So I'm sure the viewers have as well. If you guys have, give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe if you don't already. And we'll see you guys the next one. Bye.
Okay, bye.